Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Rising Start Book Club. Well, this week I have Sam Yao, author of Soul's Journey. Sam, welcome to the program.
I'm glad I'm here with you.
Okay, good. Okay, Sam, so first of all, when you're into the bio and you're into just the beginning, like the first couple of chapters of just paragraphs of knowing you, you're already like there's 3 books in that. So tell us your adventure, your story, and what brought you here from being a refugee child on a boat. Tell us your background.
Okay, I was born in China, and then my family left China when the communist was taking over China city by city, and my father had to leave take the whole family for Hong Kong. So we were on a boat. And I was told, I was 6 months old. I have no memory, but the story was relayed to me, by my parents, is that the ship, the ship that left and our family was on, it was the last one before before interception by the communists. So we just narrowly escaped. And then we grew up in Hong Kong, and then from Hong Kong, I did study. I got my undergraduate in Hong Kong in economics and the business, and then I left for America for my MBA from University of Chicago. And I worked in corporate America, and gradually, like everybody else, climbing my ladder in the corporate world. But I realized that I would rather be a bigger fish in a small pond than being, a smaller fish in a big pond. So I just keep moving down until I want to be the CEO of a company, and I accomplished my goal, and I was able to went in a company as CEO, and within 2 years, increase the value from 200 million to $1 billion in 2 years. And so I was just about to take off in the corporate world with that kind of record. But then I felt, oh no, this is the best time for me to embark on a journey for personal and spiritual growth. So I left the business world, when my phone rang, for people who want me to work for them, to run company. And so I took off on my journey, had the best time, travel around the world. But most important thing, I attended hundreds of workshops to answer the questions, all the spiritual questions I have since teenagers. I have this thirst to find out the answer to the big questions in life, like why we are here, and what's the meaning and purpose of a life, and can I know God? What is real? And I really try to pursue what's the meaning of goodness, the beauty, and what is right, and all those big questions. So at that time I was 48. I say, I have enough of that, but I want to just having fun and pursue the answer to my question. I grew up in a very devoted Christian family, but the church did not give me a satisfactory answer to my questions. So I rebelled. and left the church. So I'm more free to look at all the different religions. So that's part of the journey. But I did take one thing out of the Christian church, and that is love. That single message. And I revisited that and see, is there anything more fundamental than love in the universe and in our life? And I keep revisiting the meaning and the reality of what is important in life. So and then I stumbled on Esalen, and I became their chairman for 5 years. And Esalen is known as one of the pioneers in the movement of I am spiritual, but not religious. But actually, my view is that that's not a good title. A good title is that I'm spiritual, but I also include and transcend my religions. So it's not excluding religion because they're beautiful in their essence, okay? So that's the place where I learned. And although I have a lot of spiritual insight and experiences, and they are all now reflected, many of those are reflected in my poetry. And I accidentally stumbled into that as the vehicle for me to express my learning. And then my son committed suicide. That's like a hurricane, it's like everything changed because it's natural. I just lost interest in everything else. I just ask, now what? I asked my soul, and now what? I have lost interest. I went into seclusion, and then messages came to me, and I did not understand. And the message is that you are a healer, but you are healing with words. I say, what's that about? I'm a business person. I have never written a serious poem. Within 3 months, but I surrender myself and say, okay, show me how I do that. And within 3 months, a poetry coach came into my life. There's people who inspire me to write poetry. I ran in a chance encounter into Olina, who after reading one single poem would ask me, can I be your illustrator? And then I have a group of friends. I send them, I wrote poetry mainly for my own healing. But then when I send my poem to a group of my, best friends, they just keep telling me, you need to publish it. You need to publish it. And then I published them. And so that's the story. So I end up being a poet. I love it now because I realized that when I use the word sculpt the poem, it's a craft. Poetry is a craft. The poem itself also sculpture me. So it's kind of a counter. It's it's kind of affirm and my learning and it infused me so that my spiritual learning now is anchored deeper into my being. So it's an amazing journey. So it's become a spiritual practice. So it's not just doing things. So I love it. So I want to live a poet's life and try to see what else is coming. And so in a nutshell, that's my story.
And okay, so first, a Renaissance man. That's what I'm getting out the gate. Timeless Renaissance man. So, question I have is that the grieving period for Ryan. How long was that time period?
Well, the grieving period is like 1 year. 1 year.
Okay.
But my grieving is something a little bit different because I always believe we never die. and our true identity is we are soul in the human clothes. And so I know Ryan didn't die, and he transitioned. But what pained me is the way he died, and the suffering he went through before he died. Not the fact he died. His compared to his suffering, he's in a beautiful place, and his energy is very huge now, and he has largely recovered. So, but what it did is that it cracked wide open my heart, the incidents. I became so sensitive. I can pick up the suffering energy of the world. Now, I need that pain to write poetry. And that's something is the poetry require a continual flow of high level of emotions, the emotions of love, the emotion of grief, the sadness and the joy. And so all the conditions were provided without my planning. And so I believe life is a dance between our destiny, our blueprint when we come to this earth, and our free choice of how to want to live this world. It's a combination of both. And all conditions are right for me to start writing poetry. And what's so surprising is I was thinking about helping people in many different ways, but it ended up being just using the words. And so I just completely changed to be an artist of a craftsman of words. And that's so surprising. But when I look back, it's also inevitable based on everything that happened. And I just enjoy the surprise and inevitability, both.
You willed yourself to be here because we're responsible for everything, right?
Yeah. Yes. We're responsible for everything given what has been given to us, which we don't have control. So it's a combination. Yeah.
Would you do me the honors of one of two things? I can ask you to read a poem that I selected, or I can ask you to read your favorite or whatever download you're getting at this moment. Which do you prefer?
Okay. Let's see. I could get it out from my computer.
I'm setting you up. I know that.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm going to read Unity in Diversity. $14 billion years ago, you and I were born of stardust from the explosive expansion of the singularity. We share 99.9% of our genes, co-evolve with all of life in this rich biosphere of amazing beauty and diversity. Formless divinity preceded the creation of form, imbued it with and enveloped it in infinite love. Bury a spark in each of us, a light to guide us to our source, which is how the human mind discovers the elegant simplicity of mathematics that hold the secrets of the universe, which is how the human heart knows we are deeply connected to all humanity, to our divine origin, to our collective imagination and manifestation of our future in a glorious web. Let's rejoice in uniqueness, the intimacy in sameness, the admiration of difference. Each of us a star, shining in the tapestry of galaxy in the celestial dome. That's it.
Thank you. Perfect.
And I'm just still bringing that. And again, I love the context of web, and again, of the uniqueness and the oneness, and yet the individualism of it, and just absolutely perfect. Thank you, Sam. So what's, okay, someone who is grieving, right? Someone who's in a dark place, and I believe it is, hold on a second, I'm just making sure I have the title right in this, that, yeah. Yes, who I am.
Right, okay.
There is a vulnerability. It's just so vulnerable, open, and filled with pain, but hope, and just allow, that you put that out there for others as you went through. Can you read that one for me?
Who I am? Yeah, okay. Yes. Okay. I see an oak tree. Is that the one? That's the first one. I see an oak tree. What is the color of the green leaves when no one is there to see? What is the sound of a tree falling when no one is there to hear? My tears know only my name. I wonder if anyone will ever know my pain. Sometimes a thought drops into my mind, and I don't know where it came from. Senses, feelings, and thoughts are my only reality. Who renders experience from sense and perception? Who constructs the cell from experience? Who orchestrates the symphony of my life with my brain? I am that cell awareness, from which there's a path to cosmic consciousness. The seeker, the path, neither are different from what is being sought. A pearl already has all of nature in it. A sail already has all of life in it. Who set the precise constants of nature that fine-tune the cosmos for life to emerge? Consciousness pervades all matter in an unbroken whole. The many and the one are the same. I am aware, therefore I am. I am awareness itself.
Thank you. And that is for those in any that is just so generous. And okay, so what I'm going to shift? What are you up to? How's it been since the book came out in February? And obviously you've gotten messages from people. What have people said to you?
Well, I kind of, it's actually make me create a lot of work for me. Well, as a poet, I love a lot of time to be on my own, but now less and less time because people want to talk to me and people want to interview me, and there's a lot of feedback come back, which is exactly why I write. So I'm really grateful. It's kind of at first I wrote it for myself, and then my friends, a very small group of friends. Now more people know about it. And I say, okay, well, that's what the universe, had told me, even before I wrote, that's how I can help the world. That's one way, I can help the world. But in some way, it came back the same thing. I'm sorry to use the same word. It's surprising, but not surprising, because there's a sense of inevitability, inevitable, because I know when I align myself with my soul's purpose, things will come naturally. There's a lot of synchronicity that's happening, right from the beginning. The people I'm running into, now I'm running into you. That's enough. and I consider, everyone that come into my life as a blessing, and that's that's the basis for my gratitude. Is to look at any person, any people-to-people interface is an opportunity for an exchange of love, and that's a perspective that allow me to be very grateful. And I write this poem, but I more consider myself as a conduit, as a vehicle, okay, for the spirit to manifest their love and wisdom for the world. So it doesn't make a lot of difference to me, with all this attentions and all the feedback come back. And I just feel grateful. And I want to settle down and do more poetry, but I have not been since it was my book was published. But I'm very grateful and come to know a lot more people. And what it's telling me is that when I now create new poem, you reach more people. That's what it does. And because people know more people know, and so it can help to the extent it will. Not all people will find my poetry helpful, and depend on where they are in their life, right? There's but to me, I just putting out there, and let the spirit move to whoever who happen to read it, and hopefully it's helpful, healing, and inspiring in some way.
I will say yes to all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I have now, we started this out that you went on your journey with specific questions, right? Mm-hmm. Why are we here? And you had put the question in about love. So, and again, you use diversity, the word unity, and obviously you stand in openness and vulnerability. But the key, the highest energy, the exchange of that, is it love?
Yes. Yes. And that's I think that is fundamental substance of the universe is actually is love. I have a suspicion love is really the force behind gravity. And of course, this is just, that just came to me. I spent a lot of time studying quantum physics. It just intrigued me. And well, of all the forces in the universe, gravity is still a mystery to scientists. Both Newton and Einstein, they can only explain the mechanics of gravity. They did not explain the source of gravity. So people didn't know that. And that is still the number one question for the unification of quantum physics, as well as the theory of relativity, because the quantum, the gravitational force is still, that's an unanswered question. And they're not able to completely create a theory of everything which integrate the two major scientific discovery, quantum physics and Einstein's relativity. So let's get back to love. I got there. And well, if you think about it, we now know the formative year of children when they grow up, when they're in the developmental stage, if they do not have attachment to a single person, if they do not have enough love, they grow up with a bunch of problems. We know that. And orphans, in orphanage, they do not have enough touch and love. They actually die. It's so essential to our being in this world. The sense of that this world is safe, and the world is warm. It's all come from our experience of love, a lack of love. So much of my poetry is about that. And I think, well, I have a poem which talking about, so here, that statement, I think the whole world, human world, is held between the gaze of a baby and his or her mother. The world is spinning in that gaze. And just think about, without the love of a parent, what the human world would have become. So it's everywhere. We're seeking. It's but it's in a way, the biggest secret is that our true nature is love. It's within us. Because in all religion, in Christian, we call, the image of God. In other religion, we talk about a spark of divinity inside us. So we have this inside us, and the nature of that spark and nature of that divinity is love itself. And then that means we're loved. We just didn't know that. Sometimes it may take a whole life for us to discover that. We already get connected to the source. We can have their love.
And then so the whole mechanical of quantum physics and gravity and looking at that way is just not simply that they have the looking for the answer. They're just asking the wrong questions, right? Just like
yeah.
Well,
one thing is that because I think now, if my intuition is correct, love is the finest energy. Okay, the many level.
right, yes.
And science cannot measure that yet. Maybe it will never will. And scientism or scientific materialism make a mistake that to presume what they cannot measure does not exist.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a fundamental mistake, and that's really a presumption that has not been proven, but it's a presumption they have. But it's amazing what science has accomplished. The fact you and I can talk like this, right? And you're on a screen, you're on a two-dimensional space. But then, when we talk, I feel your energy. You feel my energy.
I was about to say, there's still the transference of energy. Absolutely.
Yeah, because energy field, has no time and space limit. We feel each other from a distance. So it's pretty amazing, the world we live in. But what is missing in science is that presumption. Looking at a presumption as true rather than just an assumption for them to pursue science.
And I'm going to leave it with that in the sourcing and with the connection and transference of energy, when it's not on what they're counting as part of the observation is there all along.
Yeah.
It's been absolutely my pleasure. And I can't wait for what's to come, because again, my experience of you is courageous, loving, open, vulnerable, and just so inspirational. Who knows what's next for you? Because you jump into the deep end of the pool, and it's going to be exciting to see what's next. And yes, people are definitely wanting to get to connect with you. So,
yes.
By the way, I'm just letting you know there's going to be more of that. So, but this has been a really true pleasure, and yes, I as we are here connecting, I'm grateful for that too, and going forward, would love more of that. So,
thank you for having me.
It's been my pleasure. Everyone, Sam Yau. And Sam, Soul's Journey. Really, it's straightforward, the title. And it's Sam Yau Poetry? Is that the website?
Yeah, my website is Sam Yau Poetry. In fact, you can read. I have the whole book there for people to read. You don't have to buy my book. And it's really beautiful on a digital format, not the Kindle. Kindle has a limitation on the design, but I have a book, a PDF file book, with the full color, the vibrance of the color. And then you can go up there and read Sam Yau Poetry. And you can order the book. I also have hardcover, soft cover, and hardcover if you want, to touch. There's a different experience. A lot of people like, being able to touch it. From Amazon.com, Soul's Journey. And so you can reach me both, and you can sign up for my new poem. I will be writing new poems soon. My goal is to write 200 poems in the next, including this 40. So I want to publish another 3 books in 4 years. And so you want to receive my new poem, if you find it helpful, go to my website and sign up on my email distribution.
Okay, good. I'm going to have it listed. And so I'm a big book collector, and I love books. And I'm going to order my hard copy. But can I get promised?
I will send you.
Okay, I'll get signed what you promised.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, will do. All right, my friends, because I would love to be able to call you that after connecting. Sending you light, sending you love, and thank you for your generosity in leading inward, outward. And get the book, Soul's Journey, and samyaupoetry.com, and on Amazon. It's an amazing, inspirational, and beautiful journey. Thank you for being on, Sam.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye.